So this tweet from DOA Mom G basically has a Jiggle physics, like, from Stellar Blade thing.
Right.
And the tweet itself says idle climbing 100% pure uncut culture. It has 70,000 likes. There are a lot of scenes from Stellar Blade that
Uh-huh.
are, if you put her in the skin suit or whatever it is,
Mhm.
the particular suit that they want, you can achieve various angles
Right.
of, this, that, or the other. Where are you on the fan service side of things? Like, I don't think that for me, when there's that, by the way,
Mhm.
shout out to Danny Twister. When I see that, I'm like, the game has to be that much better. So let's say there's male jiggle physics, like pecs jiggling. Although I don't know if you'd want jiggling pecs.
I don't I don't know about that.
I don't know what the equivalent for men would be. Bulge jiggle physics or
I see.
something.
That's the thing is if I'm gonna be real, I'm thinking about what's games that have hot guys in it. Devil May Cry 5 has some hot guys in it.
Yep,
The
yep.
Resident Evil games have hot guys in it.
Sure.
And but the thing is I don't need them to get gratuitous with it. I don't need to see a close up of a bulge on any of them or
Yeah,
anything. I
yeah,
think that
yeah.
would probably make me uncomfortable. I don't
Yeah, if
need
it's a
that.
little
It's a bit much. So yeah, that's kind of my take on it. So in terms of this, I think what we saw there with the idle animation, the jiggle physics, I don't think that they're egregious. I don't think it's terrible, but do I think that some people be kind of creepy about it?
yeah, yeah,
Probably.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, just
yeah.
like with 2B and Near Automata, you could see up her skirt when she's
Yeah.
climbing a ladder or something. I personally I don't think it's too bad. But yeah, I'm not gonna pretend like some people aren't creepy about stuff like that because I think that's definitely a case. I don't think at the same time we should be encouraging or glorifying people who are maybe a little too into that. Like
Yeah.
who are, oh, let me sit and watch this idle animation for an hour and get the lotion out and this, it's like, okay, that might be a little weird. There's
Get the
definitely a
lotion out.
case
Yeah,
for
yeah.
that, but at the same time though, there's people who can be weird with Steven Universe characters and stuff. People
Yeah.
don't need a reason. So I don't really fault the game for adding a little bit of jiggle physics there because we saw even in Tomb Raider Angel of Darkness there was a little bit of jiggle physics, but
Yeah.
it just felt realistic. I was like, okay, that's how she moves. She's got big boobs, they're gonna move,
Mm.
So I think there's balance to be had. I'm curious about like the in chat, like the guys take with that kind of stuff, because like I said, talking about the attractive male characters in games that I like Devil May Cry 5 for example, I think that they did a good job at like, okay, they're hot, we can see they're hot, but they didn't have to make
Yeah,
me
yeah.
uncomfortable with it.
Sometimes it's like, there's still some value in things being discovered. For
Yes.
me, like I'm never gonna say like it's too much.
Mhm.
But like games like Dead or Alive, the volleyball
Right.
game. It's like, is it a good game or not? For me, like I don't really care if they're dressed a certain way. It's like, is it a
Mhm.
good game or not? Which is like what I've said about Stellar Blade. So I haven't played the demo. I'm not a big demo guy, even though I used to be like I remember like Game Informer used to include demos, and that would
Yeah.
be like a whole reason to buy the magazine. Um, but like, for me, I'm like, I don't want to spoil the story. If I want to play the game, I'll play the game. But for me,
Right.
when you see like that level of fan service, I'm not upset by it, but to
Mhm.
me, it creates a higher level of the game better be that much better because I don't want to feel
True.
like they were pandering, like, well, our boobs jiggle, so the game
Yeah.
should suck. Like, I don't, when I like the DOA fighting games are popular and well liked,
Mhm.
but like that's because they're good games, not just
Yeah,
because you have a jiggle slider or whatever.
exactly.
So with the Stellar Blade thing, this is one thing I always try to tell my viewers too is like, okay, don't buy a game to own the libs. Like,
Yeah.
it has to be a good game. And
Yeah.
like people who are like reviewing Stellar Blade from a fair perspective, like whether or not it's a good game, are saying it's pretty good.
Right.
And so I think that like fan service, which is generally just a fancy way of saying, attractive characters or
Mhm.
things. It can be other things like member berries and things like that, but the gameplay for me is far more important than jiggle physics. And I guess
Right.
I'm an old man, like it's a little different for me. I think it's great. I think it should exist, and I think if people get upset about it, it makes me wanna buy it more. But at the
Right.
end of the day, I can see jiggling physics anywhere I want, and I don't have to pay
True.
$70 for it. And
Yeah.
so that,
And
go ahead.
I think there's an appeal too with characters who where it doesn't feel like they're trying too hard. There's a balance. It's like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
you can make a character sexy, but then there's that fine line between, okay, if they're trying too hard, then it kind of makes it less sexy. So yeah, there's a balance with it. I don't think that Stellar Blade is egregious though. I don't any from what I've seen. I think one of the outfits she looks
And
basically naked and I
yeah,
I won't use that outfit personally, but I'm not I
well,
don't
at
know. I
least
feel like they
they
could have done so much worse. I don't think it's as terrible as like all these journos are going on about.
yeah, I mean, if even if you look at like Cyberpunk or some of these other games, there are like scenes that are adult in like relation. I'll say this at least for Stellar Blade, if you use that suit, there are negative attributes that come with it, which I thought
Oh,
is genius. So it's like
yeah.
less protective, but it creates these creepy clips. Like I happen to think it's a little weird that you're screen capping her, climb a ladder.
Right.
Like it's all in good fun. I think it's fine. Like I'm not judging them for saying that, but like at the same time, I'm like, that's not making me buy the game. I'm not buying the game to
Right.
see that. But if it makes people extra mad,
I know, I
I'm
kinda
I'm
love that
for
it
it.
makes
Yeah.
people mad. It's
Yeah.
like, I feel like because the pendulum has swung in the other direction so far, it's almost like I think why a lot of people are cheering this on and really taking those making those clips and showing all that is because hey we're fighting back against what they've been doing with
100%.
gaming and oh you want to make female characters ugly you want to make female characters look more like men well let's take this hyper feminine sexy character and let's post all this and celebrate who she is and how she looks and all this stuff to make them mad.
Yeah. That was the funny part to me, and I also like the aspect of it where the journal's IGN's like, "Oh, this is designed by a man that's never been with a woman." And it's like, "Oops, you mean it's the director's wife? Oops,
Yep.
like it's a real woman who
Yep.
got body scanned." Like
I
that
think
was
and
great.
I think one could argue whoever changed the design for Mary Jane and Spider-Man 2, have they seen a woman? Have they been with a woman to make her
Yeah,
look like
yeah,
that?
yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah,
that doesn't look like a regular woman.
yeah, not yeah. Jiggle physics are great. I also possess them myself, but the game's got to be good. Game
For
plus fan
sure.
service is a home run because eventually, like, you'll get the memes like, "Hey, look
Yeah,
at her butt jiggle," but like, you still got to play the game. Like, you still got to enjoy
exactly.
the game, and that
Well,
that's not part of it.
and people do the same thing even with like Resident Evil 4 remake, for example, Leon Kennedy. Oh my goodness, the mods that they made for
Yeah,
him. I was like, that's a bit weird, but it's funny. It's
yeah,
kind of weird though. But yeah, I mean that's just gonna exist no matter
yeah,
what,
and
I feel like.
that's fine. Elijah Fire says, "Thanks at Trigger 444. My pleasure. I'm coming over to QC2 now. Been holding out for leverage to get Melanie on. Much love, bruv. No homo." I don't know what that's in reference to.
I don't I don't understand.
I don't know. I don't know. I must have missed it. Um, yeah, it's interesting. I try to just tell people always like I think it's cringe to give people money to own the libs. That's why
Right.
I think it's dumb. Like the conservative calendar, like that's dumb. Don't buy weak beer
I
to own the
didn't like that
libs.
calendar.
I know.
I
Why
thought it
would
was
you?
retarded.
Yes, yes, it was retarded. That
That's
is
what
the
I
correct
thought.
take. That is the correct take. And when I spoke out against it, people are like, bro, you sell coffee. What's the difference? I'm like, because I'm not selling it to own the libs. Like it was
Right.
weird. And like all the fake controversy around it, and like all these, I hated the whole thing. Like,
Yep.
oh, buy my shitty beer because Bud Light bad. I'm like, no, dude, buy good beer
Yeah.
because you want good beer. Don't buy anything to own the libs. That's stupid.
Or
And
just eat a steak and drink coffee.
have a stick of butter. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, improve the testosterone. I think too much beer was part of our testosterone issue. I think that beer is marketing beer to men is a psyop. Not that men can't ever enjoy beer, but the excessive drinking of beer, like it does lower testosterone.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. It gives you boobs.